We're pleased to be joined today by Tulsa City Councilor for District 4, Kara Joy McKee. Councilor McKee, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to TUTV today.
My pleasure. It's always great to talk to students.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. And one of the things that we're really interested in knowing from you as a city councilor now, going into your second term. What got you interested in politics? What led you want to serve on the Tulsa City Council?
You know, when I was in college studying botany and anthropology, I planned to be a scientist, not a politician. But I had a great professor, actually several, and one professor, Cindy Simon Rosenthal, who later became mayor of Norman, said to me, "The world is run by those who show up." And it just so happened that a different professor, Professor David Ray, who also poli-sci professor who served on city council in Norman, he offered extra credit to go to a city council meeting. I went, and not only was it the best soap opera in town, like, oh my gosh, this is super interesting, they were actually talking about things that mattered to me. And when I got up and I spoke up about, I think it was bike lanes, they asked me to be on a committee and then another committee because they needed college students. And I got sucked in. And bit by bit, people tugged on me for 15 years to become a politician. And eventually I relented.
And so what is involved in that process? I'm really curious. I mean, a lot has to go into running a campaign, right? Like there's a support structure. You have to have know the issues. What could you just elaborate on a little bit on what goes into that?
Yeah, I think I am probably non-traditional in some aspects because my husband and I both worked for Oklahoma Policy Institute. I for 4 years and he for I think 11 years before I ran for office. And so we knew Oklahoma politics inside and out, mostly at the state level. I mean, he is a policy analyst, me as a community advocate, and so we had, I guess, some political acumen already there, some ability to get down and dirty with the issues and to figure out how to translate that to the public. In trying to run for office, I think a few things that have made me successful. I decided I wasn't going to compromise, and you compromise on issues and in discussions. I wasn't going to compromise who I am and try to pretend to be someone else, because that's a lot to try to keep up with, right? So I'm going to be me, and I'm going to try to be the kind of elected official that I want. And so when I was knocking on doors, instead of saying, here's my platform, which it's a perfectly fine way to do it, it's probably what most candidates do, I would say, hi, I'm running for office. What matters to you? What's going on in your neighborhood? And try to get into a conversation and draw people out and understand the issues, because that's why I'm here. To figure out what's going on and how I can make it better.
Yeah. And so I guess building on that, one of the principal things I'm guessing on most people's minds right now is the COVID-19 pandemic, which affects every aspect of our daily lives. I mean, how is that impacting you and your work as a city councilor? Like how is the city council operating under, all of the kind of, under this new world that we currently reside in?
Every day, it feels like I've got way more responsibility than I have power to fix things right now. And that's painful. So negotiating my own feelings is a constant effort, and not being able to literally hug my colleagues and lean on their shoulder and talk face to face about these things. That's super hard. We sometimes catch each other in the parking lot after a ribbon cutting or something, but mostly we're online. We've been fortunate to be able to have online tools that is due to expire November 15th. So unless the state legislature calls a special session, school boards, city councils, all of our authorities, boards, and commissions will be required to go back to in-person meetings November 15th. And so far, the governor and the state legislators are completely unwilling to do this. So we're having to make all sorts of pandemic plans to get plexiglass shields and hand sanitizers and all sorts of things to make it safe for us to go back to in person. And honestly, none of what we can do in City Hall is going to be foolproof. It's going to be dangerous, and it's dangerous.
Sure.
It's dangerous for the government. If a quorum of us gets sick, we can't make decisions for the city of Tulsa. It's dangerous.
Wow. So they're still not budging, even though the case numbers are going up very, very quickly.
Yep. Even though even the Trump administration has asked the governor to put forward a statewide mask mandate, and the Cherokee Nation and Mayor Bynum and whatnot, Governor Stitt's not budging. It doesn't seem like the heads of the Senate and House are budging on this. They may come in and rescue us at the 11th hour. I'm hopeful that once we get past the election next week, maybe COVID will feel a little less political, and people will start listening to the epidemiologists and all of the medical community that's coming to us weekly say, y'all got to do more.